Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black, White, and Red All Over. I'm Victor Dandridge, the hardest working man in comics.
Ryan Seymour, king of Comic Town here in Columbus, Ohio, and I am trapped in the storeroom of the shop.
You got lots of games to keep you company, so that should work just fine. So while you're at the shop, I'm in my studio, also in Columbus, Ohio, but we're recording remotely because Jeremy's not here. We miss you, Jeremy. We love you.
Yeah.
Hopefully next week we'll be back to regular. Okay. Sweet,
yeah.
Sweet. So I know last week was a little weird, and right, you did a video, but it didn't kind of come through. So we just had like my short take on the
game. So like I thought about uploading what I had, but then like there were moments in between books where I was like stream of consciousness and like, oh, nobody's watching, like just talking to myself. I'm like, Jeremy would edit those out, but
you should have done it anyway, just to be fun. But we're back. I've been up to the shop. I grabbed some books. You've read some books. So we are going to do a full show where we're going to start off with, as always, good reads that you should read. So I don't know what your good reads that you should read are. So I guess we're just going to do this shot in the dark style and see where we go.
Based on that picture you sent, I think our top three are probably the same.
I don't know. I'm really curious. Yes.
That's a plot twist. Okay.
Okay, so pick your first good read you should read.
Okay. This is one you didn't even have a chance to see because all of our copies came damaged. So
not damaged. Yay!
Yeah, no, it wasn't as bad as last week, but there was still some stuff that came pre crinkled.
Okay.
So this one, Space Outlaw.
Ooh,
it's so good. Scout Comics. What sold me on it was like, man, that art looks really, really familiar. Yeah. Like, hey, that's Marco Fontanelli. You might remember him from Pentagram of Horror.
Yeah, another book that is a very you one.
Oh yeah, this one. Okay, so the Space Outlaw is some semi-humanoid criminal that was trapped on a prison in Mars that has broke free, wants to continue doing a whole bunch of evil stuff, comes to Earth like Wild West time period, and like overtakes the body of some poor schmuck farmer, and then the Martians send like RoboCop to Earth to catch him. It is so like
that's amazing.
It's like sci-fi spaghetti western B movie, like if oh my gosh, Robert Rodriguez was directing it, like in the vein of like Planet of Terror. So this was just absolutely amazing. It's $7, so it's a little bit more on the higher end price wise.
Okay,
but it is nothing but glossy pages. There's no advertisements for anything. It's just nothing but Marco Fontanelli from start to finish. So highly recommend.
That's some good storytelling. I like that. All right, so let's see if I'm riding the vein here.
All right.
Incredible Hulk as one of my good reads you should read.
Still safe.
Okay. Sweet. This is issue 2, Legacy Count 783. Philip Kennedy Johnson, Nick Klein, Matthew Wilson. We're digging deeper into the horror aspect of what Immortal Hulk set up. We had the first one, which had like super creepy vibes. Transformations were good and grotesque, all kinds of scary. This gets deeper, if not worse, in the creep-tasticness. This is one where our favorite MCU red herring, if he's not at the bottom of this, I'm gonna be very disappointed. Like, it's just so creepy. Banner's still out on a run, afraid to turn into the Hulk because Hulk has this vendetta, of course. I'm trying to take over. I'm tired of puny Banner. Banner, all-time Hulk, and they find some folks of a religious background that just this is very much so a you book. Did you not read this one?
No, I didn't. It was one I ended up with like 9-ish books before I stopped, and I'm like, okay, that one I saw it in your photo. I'm like, that one's gonna make the show no matter what. So I'm gonna diversify.
It's beautiful. There are parts where it's painted and Nick Klein just goes
really
storytelling. Like, it's gorgeous. But the undercurrent of this Hulk is something. This is this is taking the idea of the monster to a brand new, creepy level. So,
fantastic.
Yes.
That's one that the first issue, like we ordered really, really big on. We are sold out of, except for I think the Stormbreaker cover. Nice. So yeah, it's one the fans have been loving that book. It has been so well received.
It's good. It's really, really good.
Okay, we're gonna go with Ribbon Queen #1.
Okay.
AWA. This is an amazing creative team. We got written by Garth Ennis. So right there, quality's there.
Right.
Penciled by Jason Burrows.
Oh.
So like, yeah. Yes, that's a combination I don't know that I've seen before.
Yeah.
And it's phenomenal. So it takes kind of the vibe of Walk Through Hell, which was like, it started off on the surface like police trying to track down a serial killer type thing, and then went a Walk Through Hell. This one, my heart, give me the vapors. So there's like a serial killer that got stopped, and one of the cops that stopped him, he's kind of a stalker. He's not a good person.
Oh, cop not cool? Okay.
Not cool. Gotcha. And when it gets to the supernatural horror twist, it's, even by my Hellraiser loving standards, it's really disgusting. Like we find out what Ribbon Queen means. Yeah, we do.
I don't like how that feels in my person. I don't.
Oh, yeah.
No, that feels okay. All right. Okay, I need a hero to kind of turn this around. So,
sorry, we're closed. Tomorrow from 11 to 7. Yep. Most of the time, 12 to 7. Yep. Oh, no problem.
That not locking door, man. Every time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tackle the Avengers. This is Jed McKay, CF Villa, Federico Blee, VC's Corey Petit on letters, cover art by Stuart Homan. Okay, so we've got our roster of Avengers here. This is the third issue. It's time for things to kind of kick up a bit because we've had the team established. Now we got to create some problems worth avenging. And we get it by way of this mysterious team showing up. Brand new folks I've never heard of before. They show up in this like sort of alien spaceship called the Impossible City. And each of these individuals picks a city in the world to inflict their own sort of ness. Some of them want worship. Some of them want to raise the dead. Some of them want people to sleep. They just want all kinds of things. And in order to stop it, the Avengers have to first separate and like attack one-on-one these individual groups. So it's setting up something kind of fun. It's very different dynamic. I mean, obviously, for the Avengers, the goal is to assemble. This time, they're purposefully disassembling to attack this or to protect the world, almost like one at a time. So it's kind of wild. We've got like this one character claiming to be a god, and so Thor shows up like, no, like, nah, I don't think that's what we're doing over here. But the matchup of this is going to be really, really fun and heavy action. This is going to be some crazy action over the next arc. But yeah, it's Rise of the City Slayers, and I'm here for it. It looks good. The read was fantastic. I'm into it. And it's a very different vibe than like the glorious, age of heroes. This is kind of grim and gritty and fits right along with the Hulk that I was enjoying. So
very good. Very good. All right. Speaking of grim and gritty, we've got from Sumerian Comics, The Children of the Atom #1. Damian Conley and Gabriel Kekot are the two top listed creators. This is the third from this creative team with these characters. Started with You Promised Me Darkness. The second one was, God, my brain is saying for a few darkness more, but that's not right. But this is their third one with these characters. And what I really like is that now they've established them, their personalities, how they interact, what the world is. So they don't have to worry about that world building. They don't have to worry about like how do these two characters interact and how do they talk. They can just tell the story, which now has this vibe of like Doom Patrol meets the Invisibles, like the Grant Morrison Invisibles. So you've got that quirkiness, but with that odd seriousness attached to it. So you have some humorous things that can take place. You've got over the top superpowers. Oh my gosh, this is so good. And it's one that the art with each. My one complaint about the first series was the art was so dark that at times it was difficult to follow. Gotcha. Now it is perfect. Like, it's dark where it needs to be, but you can easily follow all the action. Nice. You can easily be like, okay, is it that guy or that guy? Everything is like this. They're hitting their stride 100%. This is like them functioning at. This is Metallica, Ride the Lightning, and Master of Puppets. That's for me. So like like everything is firing. It is the team trying to track down Children of the Comet, which Comet came by. Kids that were during that time period got superpowers. There are some people that are trying to get them for really, really bad things, and then our team's just trying to get them for their weird things. But yeah, no, it's absolutely awesome. Loved it quite a bit.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, here's where my surprise comes in.
Okay.
My last pick, for good reason that you should read, Nightclub.
Really?
Here's why.
Okay.
So obviously, I gave big shout out to the big game last week, and it is such a huge story that this one kind of taking place technically before it.
Yeah,
I wanted to kind of like let the big game still ride the wave of greatness. It absolutely is. But this does finish Nightclub. Wraps up this story arc with a huge double-sized book. Like, this is a big read.
And it's still. It's $3.99. So it's still
$3.99. So even like if you take the idea that this series so far has been $1.99 for the whole thing, this is like 2 issues worth, still on point for what this is. The ending of this was magical. Big shout out to Mark Miller and Juan Ramirez for bringing this story home, because this is one of those things where it could have landed poorly.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't. Like, you've got the big game that you're leading up to. So how do you take the time to hit all the marks up to that point is so damn difficult. Like, Mark is a genius the way he does this. And you wrap up a story, but still leave room for this series to take off on its own in another piece.
Yeah, because it definitely it sets up that second volume really, really well, and in a really organic sense, because you're like looking at the way the 3 friends function together. And one of the really cool things about this issue also is it subtly hammers away that this is part of the overarching Millerverse, because there's a couple little things in the background that you're like, notes. Oh, is that? So like that was really, really good. What I dug about it too is there's a youthfulness to it. There's like a playfulness to it. Yeah. Where Mark's stuff can be really adult or like really serious. This just it gave me vibes of like, I don't know, like the Marvel Now Champions, where it was like the younger characters, like almost like a Legion of Superheroes to an extent. Just really, really good. It sucks that we're gonna have to be on break before the second volume starts.
I know.
But yeah, I absolutely loved it. The end. It was landed so well.
I hope that this is almost the start of a new genre of super horror, which is like not horror by way of being scary, but using horror as the basis for superheroes, because I think that would be a lot of fun. And something kind of like even the Howling Commando stuff, like Creature Commandos, those are still a little bit more horror oriented, maybe war, but not superhero. This is a new so
this is 100% like, and how everybody responds to them as the heroes.
Yes.
Like, oh, Starguard, you're my dude, and
so like sweet, yay! Like, it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I'm not even sure they had to do what they did to get what they did. Like, I almost wonder if they would have been on board, because it's like, hey guys,
let's just do this. So it was such a great read. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I know that's going to be the big shocker that I didn't make that book of the week, but I have good reason. I have really good reason why it wasn't book of the week for me.
Interesting. Okay. Well, now I'm curious, because I think 2 of our books, at least we've got two that are the same up top.
Okay.
Nightclub was in my top three.
Okay.
But no I think the two that I have remaining are also amazeballs.
What is your last one for your Goodreads? Did you already go through your Goodreads?
Yep, all three. That was Children of the Comet,
yes,
Space Outlaw, and The Ribbon Queen.
So why did Nightclub make your top three? Like, it was just that tremendous? Was it your book of the week?
It was not book of the week for me.
Okay.
But for similar reasons that it was not your top three, whereas like Big Game was so good, just like so like bombastic. I was like, oh, you know, it's fun. It's great. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Just Big Game was there. It's like overshadowing things.
Got you. All right. So then I'll start off with one of my must reads. And this is the one that actually knocked a Nightclub out of the running.
Okay.
And it was Fall of X #1, the Hellfire Gala.
Yeah. Oh.
Let me just... Here's the thing, like the creative list on this is ridiculous. I mean, Dugan, Kubert, Vicio, Scheide, Dowderman, Pena, Silva, Casara, Anca, Lally, Larraz, Barreto, Garcia, De La Cruz, Arcenega, and Wilson. Literally pulling some of the folks that Mark has worked with, like Pepe Larraz, does a sequence in this. So this huge anthology is setting up the big storyline for the X line moving forward. And this was meaty. Now, understandable, it's a $9 book, okay? $8.99 like price tag, but you're getting some food with this. I mean, things happen that are reshaping the X title line moving forward. And if this is what the storyline is for the next year, that's what did it. Like the idea of setting up moving forward as opposed to finishing off what had come before. That is why I gave this one over Nightclub, because I felt like that was worthy because it's setting up bigger things for you to consider moving forward. So
it was really good. It was one that I read. What I dig about it is if this is their new annual thing, instead of like doing an X-Men annual, they're doing a Hellfire Gala. So I mean, it's different every year because different characters. Of course, people are going to want to go, and there's so many things, like even high school dances, like so much stuff happens, like behind the scenes, political stuff. It totally would happen at that level, and there's stuff being set up. Tony and Emma, and just
huge, absolutely huge. There's character reveals, character moves in this one, character deaths that could be very pivotal moving forward. So highly recommend, if you go to the shop, you need to come home with this because that's big. It's absolutely big. So okay, so we've got two left.
Yes.
Are they the same?
I bet. One was a larger format. The other one, F word.
Okay. So which one is your book of the week? Because I think we should start with the other one.
Oh my God, that's tough.
It is tough. So I'm putting it off on you because you own the store and I'm not the bad guy.
Dang it. All right. I'm going to go first runner up. Oh, why can't that dude come back in and like threaten me with a knife so I don't have to decide? Ultimate Invasion #2.
Okay. I like it. Which does have the blueprints. Like if you're an old school Ultimates fan like we are, you see the fingerprints of Mark Miller at the beginning of this. When I was like, oh, that's so cute. Way to start it off. But Jonathan Hickman, Brian Hitch, Andrew Curie, and Alex Sinclair bring the second issue, the second installment to life of what happens when the maker, the Ultimate Comics Reed Richards, gets out and rebuilds the Ultimate Universe.
In his image.
Image. The things that he does are dastardly. Subtle, but dastardly. Like
God, he's such the perfect villain. Like like Lex Luthor, has his machinations and his planning and whatnot, but nothing like this maker is like Lex Luthor, which we might be talking about here in a few minutes,
right?
And Nemesis rolled into one, because just the level of planning to reshape an entire universe. I can't say that, because there's something that he reveals that I was like, holy crap!
Like,
did he do that?
To do that, like, number one, to do that to him is already like a level, but his safety protocols. How did you think that through, sir? Like, how did you come to the conclusion that you should do this because X, Y, like, there's levels to this that are absolutely astronomical. I do want to give shout out to the House of M vibes to this. When it comes to the political structure of certain things, certain houses. I definitely enjoyed that. And just kind of the subtle buildup of what the threat is. Like, looking at it and saying, okay, I think I'm fighting a fight on multiple fronts, and I'm attacking it at a certain level that is absolutely genius. I mean, you don't see people fight on this level like this.
No, not at all. And that's one of the things. This is a cosmic scale story that's being told on a planet.
Yes.
It's like, what if the bad guy wins? And this is like after that you can see what they're actually doing, and it's like the maker, man. We're so glad the 616's Reed Richards is that way he is compared to this, because oh my gosh, because it's so clinical.
Yes,
like everything that he does that's evil. It is only evil in the sense of like, you shouldn't do that, not what you. There's like a science, like a cold calculation behind it. That
kind of genius.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
What I think is, or I'm going to ask a question: is this the Ultimate Universe's Secret Wars?
Might be.
Right.
It might be, because the first couple splash pages where stuff started to go down, I'm like, wait a minute. Is that and that, and like there's something going on, and the way this, when you find out what the maker's doing and how he's structured things,
it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. I definitely love the scope and scale. This is, again, putting these two books together. You're seeing comics written at a scale that is world building, if not world shaking, and I'm enjoying that right now.
Oh yeah,
and maybe this is the place I'm in, but I like something a little bit more thoughtful than just a monthly book, but rather a big story that's going to shake up everything. So, summer blockbuster. That's where my mood is, and I think that's where we should be.
Yep.
Okay, so book of the week. Oh
yeah. Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
It's like a reverse All-Star Superman.
Yeah.
Where instead, I mean, the title says it all. It's Luthor that's dying, not Superman. But Superman aims to save him. And the journey that is going to make Superman a global pariah for being willing. Like, how crazy is that? Yeah. He's going to be blamed for being Superman.
Yeah.
Because it's the most Superman answer. Like,
like, I don't care that you're a bad guy. I don't care that you're one of my arch nemesis. You're a life. I'm going to do what it's going to take to save you.
But it is. So we've got written by Mark Waid. So
on a heater,
like make a right.
Yeah.
Brian Hitch pulling double duties this month because I mean, he's kicking all the ass here. Absolute legend, Kevin Nolan doing inks and colors by David Barron. Richard Starkings with Tyler Smith of Comic Craft. Like, this is a gorgeous looking book.
Yeah.
Super well done. Absolutely gorgeous. And
no ads, square bound. My complaint about the size makes it difficult to store, but it really, really allows the art to just breathe. And with Hitch's stuff, you want to be able to see everything.
You need to go super cinematic. And of course, it brings to mind Heaven's Ladder, one of the other oversized books that Hitch and Mark Waid did together. So highly enjoy them working together because the scale of stories is amazing. And when you have Mark Waid who digs into classic history like he does, you're hitting all the spots. Like,
oh yeah,
this is brilliant. Okay, so Luthor, in an accident of his own making, has put his life in jeopardy. Seemingly.
Yeah. There's something I don't know that I trust Luthor.
Nor should you, right?
But I also don't know that I don't trust him. Which once people get a chance to read this, they'll be able to figure out what I'm talking about. Yeah, he's got a few days to live,
and he's turned to the one person who would rather die than just give up on it,
right?
And again, weaving in classic, old school, if not forgotten DC history, we get the rationale and reasoning behind it, and the biggest Superman or secret of Superman's life, fueling his insistence on helping here. I think that's one of my favorite parts of this.
Yeah, and going back to their backstory when they were kids, like these two have been intertwined. Sometimes people forget that, but they've been intertwined their entire lives, basically.
Exactly.
And God, that's so like seeing Clark be Clark. The level of compassion for somebody that just virulently hates you,
right?
It is just, oh man,
and really almost in a way that they both want the same things for other people. Just one style is more palatable than the other, and that's why he's successful. Like it's, you know, in terms of it, Luthor is more successful financially because of his attitude, right? He will get it. He doesn't care who he steps on to do so. Boom. That's why he's one of the world's richest men. But Superman is beloved by everyone because he will purposefully not do that. Yeah. And what happens when those ideologies clash against one another? You have the greatest nemesis teams of all time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. There was just what I loved was that, well, like with a lot of the Black Label books, you'll get rated R content. And with this one, you didn't.
Right.
But it wasn't holding back. Like it was allowed to, because it's Black Label, they can just tell their story and not have to worry about, like with Dawn of DC going on, Luthor's in jail, but he's actually helping Superman for Luthorian reasons. And this one, they're just allowed to tell whatever story they want. They can go seek help from whoever they want to. They can, try whatever they want to. And God, the first issue floored me. Like it was so good.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, this is movie level scope. I mean, this is Supermaning, and it's got action, it's got compassion, it's got all the right things that if you hear this in Christopher Reeve's voice, I don't know what you were doing, right? Yeah. Like it's absolutely brilliant. And the places that they go, I mean, the Fortress, Kandor, the Phantom Zone, like if that's just the first issue, where does this place go? Like, where does this storyline run? Right. Because I don't even know. How many issues does this go? Do you know? Does it say?
3, I think.
Huh. Oh.
I'm wondering, like, I've been like racking my brain trying to think of other people or groups within the Superman universe that would have the potential technology or knowledge to be able to help Luthor, and then cross-referencing those with like who would, like in terms of like would they actually do it? But
this was a great read. Glad I grabbed it. It's the only DC book on my list this week, but highly worth it and absolutely wonderful. So definitely grab this one. So those are our choices. We had some good reads you should read. We had some reads. We hope that you guys, when you go to your comic shop tomorrow, come home with at least 3 of these things. Because you should, because they're that without question. And of course, despite our distance, we find ways to still be here for you. So what should you do to get it? Subscribe.
Put the thumbs up and subscribe. Go into your phone settings and say, hey, YouTube, it's cool. Or tell me when they post, because we do almost every week.
Yeah. Even with difficulty, we find a way. Life finds a way because comics find a way. And that's how we do it. So once again, I'm Victor Danders, the hardest working man in comics.
Brian Seymour, King of Comic Town.
We'll see you guys next week.